Today I will use coloring stencils to color an embossed panel and then use alcohol markers to add shading to the flowers. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome to Creative Coloring with Erum. Today's card is also simple, and again, as I do most of the time, I will share a few steps with you along with points where you can stop and walk away with a simpler project if you want to, or keep moving forward to step up the design. For my project today, I am using the Daisies Simple Coloring Stencil and the Daisies 3D Embossing folder. I have already embossed a classic Crest solar white panel. Please use a fine mister to mist the back side of the panel before embossing to avoid cardstock from cracking. Now I will show you the insert for the stencil, which clearly shows that this is a one-layer stencil. You can choose to use one mid-tone and one dark color to color the front petals and those that are at the back, respectively. I will use Ruby Red Crisp Dye Ink for the flowers, and I will quickly cover the petals. You will see that I will be heavy-handed closer to the flower center. To add more depth and show the shadow, like on overlapping petals or flowers, I will add Grapevine Crisp Dye Ink. I won't show you the entire process as this is very basic inking. If you want, you can keep the tips of the petals a little lighter. I did this for the topmost petals on some of the flowers. For the leaves and stems, I will start by applying Forest Glades Crisp Dye Ink, and for depth, I will add Evergreen Crisp Dye Ink. Again, I will quickly show you how this is done. This is very easy. Next, for the flower centers, I will use only the Sunray Crisp Dye Ink, and I will apply this heavy-handedly on the lower edge or the portion of the flower center. The reason I'm using one ink here is because I am going to be adding dots to the flower center, so I don't need to add two inks here. Now I have this panel ready. You can stop here, pop a sentiment, and you are good. But if you want to step it up, let's move along. To step up this stenciled and embossed panel, I will add shading with alcohol markers. It's a great thing that alternate colors over the entire media lot somewhat match, so I will use one dark and one mid-tone alcohol marker that matches the inks on my panel. You can use only one marker shade that you won't have to blend or that won't stand out too much. I will use Grapevine for the flowers and add this near the flower center. I will start by adding this to the petals that are at the back side. Doing this adds depth right away. I'm not sure you can see the difference in the video, but in person I could see the change immediately. The petals, the topmost one, looked popped up right away. I will also add Ruby Red Artist Alcohol marker here just to blend the Grapevine marker out. I don't need to do this, but I loved the pop of red from the Ruby Red marker. For the leaves, I will first add Evergreen Artist Alcohol marker, and this is quite dark. So I absolutely need Forest Glades Artist Alcohol marker to blend this out. The Forest Glades is the second lightest. Basically, we have to use the darkest and the mid-tone marker. You can also use just one of that is the darkest, as in the case of the flowers. I mentioned that I didn't really need the ruby red. So if you have one marker that matches the ink color, you are good. I'm adding these darkest colors to add depth, and this is what will create dimension in our flower petals and leaves. Now onto the flower center, which is the most interesting to color. I always follow the same technique for most flower centers. I usually add lots of dots of various sizes in different shades of the same color family or matching colors. On this card, I'm using Caramel Toffee, Paper Bag, and Warm Sunshine. I didn't think I would need the Warm Sunshine since it's very close to the yellow on my flower center. but you will see for yourself that adding warm sunshine dots enhance the flower center. It also allowed me to add more depth to the area where I want to show a bit of shading and a bit of depth by adding more dots to that area. I usually do this in a C format to end up with a dome-like shape. This is what I do. You can choose to do something else, either add a satin finish, dark to light, or leave it as is, or begin by adding 2 ink colors during stenciling, so you can skip adding marker detail to the flower center. This is your choice, absolutely your choice, so do what you like. Once you are done, you can leave the background white if that is what you want. I wanted to add a bit of color. Now you can go with any color you want to. I would suggest using just one color marker to make the process easier and faster, and also because you won't have to blend several shades. Blue background would look really nice both in light and dark. I have previously made this card with a blue background and it looks beautiful, very vibrant. However, today I am going to use Morning Frost Artist Alcohol Marker and add color to the background. This is super simple and easy. You will be done in no time. You have to make sure your marker is juicy and you have refill for this, as coloring backgrounds take a lot of ink. Once I have the colored panel, I will emboss this again. But this time I forgot to use the fine mister, so there are a few cracks on my panel. Remember, you guys need to mist the panel on the back side of it lightly both times before embossing. This is very important, this is essential, so that you don't have cracks on the cardstock. Now I will just adhere the sentiment and add a few sequins, and then adhere the panel onto the card base. That's it, I'm done. I hope you liked my card. Thank you very much for watching. See you next week. Bye.